From gangs to gods. Unveiling the omnipresent signs and symbols of Chicago's major black street organizations. The degree of the Nagas. When viewing the omnipresent signs and symbols of the Mickey Cobra Nation from the outside, it appears as though there's nothing more than the symbol of a snake to be considered. And this by itself may not spark the curiosity of the uninformed onlooker, especially when taken on face value. But as we dig a bit deeper into the soil and fabric of the omnipresent signs and symbols and certain portions of this said organization's literature, we find several powerful elements that are metaphysically linked to an array of knowledge and information which by far exceeds that which is grasped by the common layman. In fact, we will here take note of two widespread slogans that are uttered by the members of the Cobra Nation. The first one being, "The snake bite is too tight." And the other one is, "All is seen in the eye of the cobra." Now, on a street level, these phrases bear sacred meanings, of which only a true Mickey Cobra can further elaborate. But on a metaphysical level, especially when aligned with different fractions of other universal teachings, we find that these slogans penetrate the surfaces of an array of knowledge and information that are relevant to the creative powers existent within man/God. True knowledge, which were the sciences that were observed and mastered by our divine ancestors of the organic arts, which migrated into the teachings of the Hindu pantheon, as well as other schools extending to the furthest reaches of Asia, to the continent of Africa, and back to the shores of Turtle Island. The theory of special relativity. Anyone with eyes can see the letters MC in the above equation. In correspondence to the metaphysics of what the Mickey Cobras have presented to us by way of their title MC, we examine this sequence in an elevated capacity. In 13.3.14 literature, the Egyptian cobra is the divine symbol which represents. As we search for this secret definition, we seem to arrive at the word strength, might, power, and force. So to minimize a number of possibilities, we will choose the word power and examine its definition. Number 1. The ability to act or produce an effect. Number 2. A source or means of supplying energy, especially electricity. Now, according to Einstein, this mathematical formula of E equals mc squared explains how matter can be turned into energy and how energy can thus be turned into matter. In this theory, to find the sum of energy, you must multiply mass by the square of the speed of light. Although this theory is profound, we overstand that all is energy and energy is infinite. Therefore, it is impossible to measure that which is infinite. Hence, no finite mind can comprehend things incomprehensible. In regard to the human being, a person's energy content is calculated in accordance with his or her astrological birth chart, the moment she or he decided to come into this realm of existence. By way of this process comes the matter/mass of the body that was selected as a vehicle to house the energy/fire/life force/soul at physical birth. Now, as we dissect this mathematical theory, we find the geometric alchemy of creativity twice multiplied. As E represents energy, it specifically denotes dark, black energy, which is Kemet/black. Kemet is Egypt. Egyptian is the original name of the Cobra Nation, Egyptian Cobras/Naja Haji. Now the M, which represents mass, the accumulation of matter, is the metaphysical equivalent of the M, which represents Mickey. And the C, which represents the speed of light, is the Cobra. The Cobra is the light. The only true light is fire. The Cobra, Nagas, Kundalini is the fire of creation, which creates all life forms in the known universe. And lastly, the K. Although this particular letter, K, is rarely written in the above equation, it is without question at work at the root level of this formula, existing as the kinetic energy that is in the motion of the manifestation that is being quote-unquote measured. This kinetic energy is none other than Kemetic energy in essence. The snake gods of the world. In accordance with the nickname Snakes, which is given to the Mickey Cobra Nation and the members thereof, we are delighted to travel around the world and find that the snake, serpent, cobra is revered in many schools of thought, in many different cultures. In the majority of these different cultures, snake deities are considered as symbols of the primeval power existent in man and the cosmos. There are over 400 serpent gods throughout the world with one thing in common. They are all linked to the most powerful energy in the universe, the creatrix of life, carbon, fire, melanin. Below we have provided a brief list of serpent gods and the cultures from which they have derived. Oni Air, Turtle Island. Tiamat, Babylon. Quetzalcoatl, Mayan. Damballa, Voodoo. Yenwei, Chinese. Hydra, Greek. Nehebko, Egypt. Eopsin, Korea. Dawn, Africa. Kora, Celtic. Jormungandr, Norse. Mashusu, Mesopotamia. Emoho, Hawaiian. Rainbow snake, Australia. In connection with the cobra in Mickey Cobra literature, here is where we remember the divine cobra, Nagas. When viewing her ancient statues, one cannot help but to recognize her undeniable negroid, negrito, features. That is, her nose, lips, hair, and copper bronze tone. In the sacred school of Hinduism, Nagas is black, which denotes her essence as being pure carbon/melanin/dark energy and dark matter/fire. Hence, this black element is the creative substance and nucleus of all known things in existence. In many statues of the Nagas, she wears 5 protective cobras on her crown: Manasa, Kalia, Vasuki, Adishesha, and Astika. In other statues, 7. These protective cobras are the equivalent of the Wadjet/Urias, which was worn at the first eye level on the headdresses of our Kemetic ancestors. Corresponding to this analogy, the Hindus are sometimes seen with a red dot drawn on their foreheads, which in Sanskrit is pronounced bindi. This is the equivalent of the awakened and raised Kundalini cobra, which represents spiritual enlightenment as well as a point of focus. The N-word, Nagas, Negas, Niggas. The word Nagas is pronounced in a very unique manner, and it carries the same numerical vibration and value as the words Negas and Niggas. Yes, you heard it correctly. As we study this word, Nagas, we find that its roots lie in the Sanskrit language, which bear the meanings of serpent, sun, and one who is wise. As we further examine the study of semantics, it seems to become highly possible that the word Nigga is a derivative of the word Naga. Seeing that both Naga and Nigga are basically the same word spelled and pronounced in a slightly different manner. This can be concluded based on the first rule of interchangeable vowels, ade, iou, and sometimes y. In other words, when we remove the vowels from these words, we acquire the exact same consonant vibrations from the letters in G and S. As both words, Nagas and Niggas, are metaphysically defined, they both share the same meaning, black. Remember, the Nagas is pure carbon, black/fire/melanin. As we travel to Ethiopia, the word Negus is defined as sovereign and king of kings. How ironic is this? When the word Niggas is pronounced by our cousins on the African continent, their dialect causes them to pronounce the word Negus, which is not coincidental. Furthermore, in Latin, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese, the word Negro means black, which confirms its semantic relation to the word Nagas, primarily but not limited to the definition itself. And although the word has been used as a tool of discrimination as well as an attempted defamation of character, the people of the world have incorporated the word into their vocabulary, whether in a positive/common connotation or otherwise. By doing so, they are unconsciously chanting the mantra Naga/Nagas, and this is the nucleus of what has been classified as global warming. Thus, the people are effectively calling on the Cobra energy of creation. In other words, the Kundalini energy proper. Wadjet, Urias, Jed. In compliance with the Cobra of MCN literature, we remain in the original Kemet, where our organic ancestors wore the cobra on their headdresses, in the striking position. This powerful cobra is hieroglyphically named Wadjet and Urias, which is also known as the Eye of Horus, the first eye, mislabeled the third eye. It is also well known as the sun that spits fire at one's enemies. Thus, the Wadjet is located at the forehead level as a symbol of royalty, knowledge of one's true self, God, which was obtained by way of initiation into the higher sciences, which resulted in a heightened level of awareness. No one was or is truly able to display the divine cobra at the first eye level until he or she undergoes an extremely powerful ritual known as raising the Jed pillar in Kemet or raising the Kundalini in Hinduism. Phonetically speaking, this divine cobra is precisely related to the Jed, as the hieroglyph for the cobra is pronounced Dej, as in edge. The Jed is known as the backbone of Osiris, who is better known as the Green One. This backbone or Jed is none other than a representation of the spinal columns of the organic people of the planet. It is located at the top of the spinal column in the cervical area. It is also a phallic symbol representing creative regeneration, which is powerful enough to create an entirely new universe. The human sacrum. In correspondence to the metaphysical aspect of the cobra in Mickey Cobra lit, we stay connected to certain portions of the sacred Hindu school of thought, which leads us to the human sacrum. This cornerstone of the human body, which houses our divine cobra energy, is known as the region of the Muladhara chakra. The sacrum is located at the base of your spine in the upper part of the pelvic cavity. It resembles an inverted triangle, which denotes the element of water. See degree of the conscious elements. In the Kemetic mysteries, it is taught that Ra, the sun, arose out of the primeval waters of Nu. That is to say, that the fire of creation, which is the cobra energy, is submerged in the waters of your sacrum, respectively. The human spine and the cobra. As we further examine the metaphysical aspects of the cobra in Mickey Cobra lit, we arrive at the skeletal anatomy of a cobra and that of the human magnetic spine. As they are compared side by side or in conjunction to each other, their extreme similarities are immediately recognized. This profound science was well understood by our organic ancestors, as they merged the two into one, thus making man's inherent powers equal to those of a snake/serpent. As the cobra, Kundalini Anaga's energy is awakened and released, it infuses the entire endocrine system. This includes the testicles, ovaries, pancreas, adrenals, thymus, thyroid, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, and pineal glands. The result of this energy charge in supreme awareness, mental, physical, and spiritual, known as nirvana or enlightenment by the Buddhist, and taqwa/God consciousness in Islam. In accordance with the metaphysical aspect of the powerful cobra in Mickey Cobra lit, we explore 7 spinning energy vortexes called chakras. Each chakra vibrates in accordance with the divine laws of the universe, macrocosmic and microcosmic. The rotations of these chakras mold and fashion the individual, the events, and circumstances that take place in his or her lives, be they positive or negative. Thus, the energy of the universe is recycled by each chakra daily, at specific moments. Once that energy is filtered by the specific chakras of a given situation, it is directed to a precise point in personal creation, and its results are displayed via thoughts, words, actions, and outcomes. The chakra in topic here is the root/base chakra, which in many esoteric schools of thought is labeled the cobra chakra. It is here where the Nagas/Kundalini energy is stored. This cobra chakra is considered the first chakra because it is from this region of the body where all creation begins. It is also the foundation upon which all of the other chakras stand. As stated earlier, this root chakra has been named Muladhara by the Hindus, and has 4 petals which bear the Sanskrit letters/vibrations Va, Sha, Sha, and Sa. According to this school of thought, the divine seed sound in the center of this chakra is I am, as in the great I am. This divine seed sound implies that God and man are one in the same essence. As the cobra carbon Kundalini melanin fire travels up the spine to the king's chamber, cervical vertebra column, and continues its journey upward, it ignites what is called the reptilian brain or cobra brain. Scientists have documented that this portion of the brain first appeared in the fish species over some 600 million years ago, and now it is a primary portion of the brain due to man's evolution. It is accompanied by 2 more distinct sections of the brain, the neocortex and the limbic. These 3 divisions of the brain form what is considered as the triune brain. The neocortex is the most advanced part of the human brain, responsible for many of the abilities that make us uniquely human. It helps us understand what we see, hear, and feel, and it controls our movements. It also allows us to think, reason, plan, and use language. In addition, it supports memory and helps us relate to others through empathy and moral understanding. Through these functions, the neocortex plays a central role in how we experience the world and how we connect with one another. The limbic brain, often referred to as the emotional brain, is a group of interconnected structures responsible for regulating emotions, memory, motivation, and instinctive behaviors. It plays a key role in how humans experience and respond to emotions such as fear, joy, and anger, and it is crucial for forming emotional memories. The limbic system also influences survival-related behaviors like the fight or flight response and is involved in the brain's reward system, driving actions related to pleasure and motivation. Additionally, it connects the sense of smell to emotional and memory-related responses, further shaping how we interpret and react to the world. Lastly, the reptilian brain, which according to science is the most ancient part of the human brain. It is responsible for basic survival functions and instinctive behaviors. It controls automatic processes such as heart rate, breathing, body temperature, and balance. This part of the brain is also linked to instinctual actions like aggression, dominance, territoriality, and the fight or flight response. Because it operates largely below conscious awareness, the reptilian brain helps us react quickly to threats and maintain vital bodily functions without needing to think about them. Although simple in structure, it plays a crucial role in keeping us alive and safe. The serpent in the Garden of Eden. With all due respect, this subject is in no ways intended to disrespect nor offend the Christian Church or Christians in general. Indeed, we understand that our organic ancestors created the seed that birthed this school of thought. Therefore, we obligate ourselves to stay within the boundaries of Christ-like morale. Yet, we also understand that as re-raised gods, we have the right to analyze all things within the power of reason and common sense. Therefore, we will proceed in the light of intellectualism. Genesis 2 verses 16 to 17. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Genesis 3 verse 4. Then the serpent said to the woman, You will surely not die. For God knows that in the day that you eat of it your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Genesis 3 verses 6 to 7. So she took some of the fruit and ate it. And she gave some to her husband, and he ate it also. The eyes of both of them were opened. Genesis 3 verse 14. So the Lord God said to the serpent, Because you have done this, on your belly you shall crawl. Now lastly, Genesis 3 verse 22. Then the Lord God said, Behold, the man has become like one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put out his hand and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Now, as we meditate on these biblical verses, the first thing that becomes obvious is that the God who was quote-unquote speaking didn't want the people to become aware of whatever it was that was hidden. And even though that particular God created them with the ability to know those hidden sciences, he wanted them to remain ignorant of the facts. Whereas on the other hand, the serpent wanted the people to realize their God-given potentials and capabilities. And when they took the serpent's advice, their eyes were immediately opened to the realities of whatever it was that had been previously hidden. At that point, the God in reference was displeased with the people's decision, as well as the serpent's consultation. He then curses the serpent and tells it that it will crawl on his belly for informing Adam and Eve that they bear the attributes and powers of their Creator. He then, seemingly talking to someone else, stated that man, meaning Adam and Eve, had now become like himself and whomever he was referring to as us. And lastly, the God in topic says that since the people had been awakened to that particular degree of knowledge, they had to take of the tree of life in order to live forever. Now, as re-raised goddesses and gods, we will dissect the above biblical story with a part of the brain that is the generator of our consciousness, the neocortex, which corresponds to the universal sciences of the serpent/cobra energy that is to be awakened in order to raise our level of awareness. First things first, why would the God who created Adam and Eve with certain abilities not want them to know how to use them? Is this not the equivalent of not wanting a flock of birds to use their wings to fly? Secondly, why would this God threaten Adam and Eve with death if they found out that they were inherently created with certain powers? And why would he create them with these powers if he never wanted them to use them in the first place? The million-dollar question, who or what was the serpent who wanted the people to know that they possessed powers equal to those of their God? And why was this serpent cursed to crawl on its belly? What was it doing beforehand? Now, if that God forewarned the people that they would surely die if they disobeyed his command, why would he have an antidote, the tree of life, somewhere nearby? If they took from this tree and lived after being disobedient, would this not contradict his initial statement about them surely dying? Also, what exactly was, or is, this so-called tree of life? And lastly, if the serpent was or is so evil and cursed, Why would Jesus tell someone whom he loved to be ye as wise as serpents while they circulated amongst wolves? Are serpents the lesser evil of the two creatures? Now, as we exercise critical thinking, reason, and common sense, and reference ancient history, we conclude that the God in question, who didn't want Adam and Eve to realize their inherent capabilities, is not the God that we have been led to believe he is. In fact, metaphorically, figuratively, and literally speaking, we here associate the in topic with the lower self and the people who represent the lower self. Those who desire to keep humanity from vibrating in the higher frequencies of creation, also known as energy vampires, or the dark priesthood. As for the despised serpent, we associate it with the higher self, Cobra, Nagas, Kundalini energy that stood upright, spiraled around the spine, activating the pineal gland. When the people did this, they instantly became the gods that they were created to be, having knowledge of both principles, the yin and the yang. But the people who represent the lower self despised this raising of consciousness and cursed the serpent power / Naga's Kundalini to crawl on its belly. In other words, forcing it to remain coiled at the base of the spine, rendering it practically inaccessible to the men and women to whom it rightfully belongs. And in turn, this energy is manipulated and controlled by the parasitic elite through strategic weapons of fear, death, and militarization, which are all the primary sources of their control over those who are the true possessors of the real primeval power and energy on the planet. Now, as for the tree of life that must be taken from in order for the people to live, it is composed of multiple angles and many dimensions. See the degree of the Kemetic, the degree of Solomon's temple, and the degree of the Duat and the abyss. Here, it is the spine that must be straightened in order for the Kundalini Cobra to be raised to its prominent height in the human being, which is thus symbolized by the Jed pillar. Once this process is undertaken, the individual becomes immortal and defies death on all levels. In other words, as his or her energy is transferred from one realm or dimension to the next, their heightened level of consciousness travels alongside the spirit and soul in complete awareness. As for the statement in Genesis 3 verse 22, then the Lord God said, Behold, the man has become like one of us. We examined the word Elohim, which has been mistranslated into the words Lord God, which deceitfully alludes to God in the singular form. But as we examine the Hebrew fire letters for the title Elohim, we come to find that the letter Him denotes plurality on all levels in this language system, which in essence, the definition for the word Elohim is they, and these beings. Therefore, the correct terminology would be, then they said, or then these beings said, Behold, the man has become like one of us to know good and evil. If they will but take from their own being and raise their Cobra energy, they will never experience true death. They will have the ability to spit fire at their disruptive enemies, be they mental, spiritual, or physical. They will also be granted excellent health, unmeasurable wealth, and divine power. And they will thus be in harmony with nature, their nurturing Mother Earth, and their organic brothers and sisters of all worlds, universes, and galaxies, for eons to come. Last but not least, let it be over and understood that the love energy is the driving force behind these earthly and divine manifestations, and it will, without a shadow of a doubt, lead us to guaranteed victory. We now conclude this degree of the Nagas, which was brought to us on a street level by way of the omnipresent signs and symbols of the Mickey Cobra nation, which we have seen has always contained the higher sciences of the original and organic goddesses and gods without the slightest flaw whatsoever. We sincerely hope that you have enjoyed this video and have been enlightened by the content contained herein, for it was truly created with the intention to aid in the awakening of the original indigenous tribes of Turtle Island from our timely amnesia, so that we will reclaim that which is rightfully ours by birthright and inheritance. With that being said, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also be sure to stay tuned for the upcoming degrees of the Builder's Stone, the degree of the Inheritors, and the other degrees which were previously mentioned in this video. Until we meet again, Noato Hiada, which is indigenous for peace.